Marvel fans, welcome back to the live stream. We are so glad to be here, brought to you by Marvel's Future Fight from Netmarble. I am Tamara Krinsky, Marvel's West Coast host, joined by
Marvel.com editor Mark Strom and
Introduce
Chris Dingess,
yourselves.
Agent Carter.
Michele Fazekas, Agent Carter.
Tara Butters, Agent Carter.
So you guys just had this crazy experience down on the floor with the signing. What is it like to be here after season 1, going into season 2? How different from last year?
It's incredibly exciting, actually. The fact is, the fan response has been absolutely incredible, and it's just really fun to see all the artwork and see all the people dressed up.
The cosplay is unbelievable. I mean, they had a whole Peggy Carter group of cosplay people up on the stage, and it was unbelievable.
Well, it's such a distinctive costume. I mean, I remember I interviewed Gigi, and she actually did a 1940s Agent Carter makeover on me, and we were talking about the distinctive look of the red hat and how she wanted Peggy to stand out in a sea. And when you look across this floor, you see all the red hats moving through. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a great iconic look.
Yeah. And so, heading into season 2, we're going to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the decision to make that happen.
Something we had talked about really early on in the first season in the writer's room, and I don't, maybe it's partially because we shoot in Los Angeles. We've been watching a lot of sort of 40s film noir, and that a lot of it is telling LA stories. And I don't know, it always sort of stuck with us.
We would be discussing movies,
like LA
detective
Confidential.
movies, yeah. And they always end up taking place in Los Angeles. So while we were working last season, it just kind of was like, why don't we do the show and have her go to Los Angeles? So it was very organic.
And then I like the idea of a second season where it's the same show, but it doesn't feel like you're telling the exact same story. And it really infuses a whole new stories you can tell, and a whole new look and a whole new wardrobe. So we're excited.
Very cool.
Now, I remember when you guys were doing season 1, you talked a lot about, I believe, like Raiders of the Lost Ark as being like one of the main touch points for that first season. For this one, since you guys are doing the more film noir detective thing, what film would you sort of
Tara,
pick out
you're
as
the film
touchstone
noir
for this?
Well, I mean, we talk about LA Confidential a lot, of the idea of one event that then as you kind of continue to investigate, you see the underlying conspiracy. I mean, Chinatown, but those don't have quite still the tone.
Raiders still applies
Yeah,
in the fun and the
adventure
fun
of
fighting.
it all.
And,
And so I think it's still a combination.
Well, we're getting some fan questions. Orkan Orbe asks, is there any chance we can see a young Janet Van Dyne, aka the new Wasp, this season? Love the show, by the way.
I don't actually think the timeline works.
Yeah.
We would love to.
Yeah, it would be great, but I think that wouldn't work.
And then we've also actually got Michele and Tara. Welcome to the Carol Corps. Couldn't be happier. What can we expect from the new space station, its mission and crew? So for those of you who don't know, they are going to be writing a comic for the first time, correct?
Very excited. We're working with an amazing artist, Chris Anka, who also designed the Agent Carter poster. And, you know, he is working up multiple versions of it right now, and we're still figuring that out.
It's really interesting kind of talking about designing a space station where it's like, doesn't matter, you don't have a budget, just do it. And so I had started saying, because you have sort of things like Deep Space Nine and Death Star, and then I had thought of a cartoon that I'd seen, the Backyardigans, and they had a space station. So I'm like, don't laugh, it's from the Backyardigans, but look at this part. So we're just sort of emailing him different
Check out
pictures.
Miles from Tomorrowland.
So, and he's so great about the exchange of ideas. He's like, that's cool, and what about this? And so it's really fun.
Now, for you guys writing the comic, I believe this is your first comic, correct?
Tara has done one.
I co-did one with my husband, Mark Guggenheim.
Okay.
It is my first one.
Yeah, but I'll be honest with you, it was more of, I came to him with an idea and I broke it with him, but he wrote it.
Okay.
So this is really the first time we're doing it from beginning to end.
So are you guys like talking with Mark, or like, I know Chris, you also write Memphis Destiny over at Image.
Right.
I make Mark read everything.
And
we make him
Dingess.
read everything.
Yeah.
Dingess will come in and look at our board that we have in our office and be like, you have too much story. I'm like, I know, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what process-wise, what are the sort of similarities to, you know, breaking story for a TV show versus storyboarding out the comics?
We always start with the overall arc first and kind of try to
Which
figure
is
out
similar to TV.
Yeah.
right? And the same thing we do with Agent Carter. And then we're basically breaking it down to how do we want to end everything, and then you start breaking the episode, or I keep calling the issues episodes.
Yeah, writing for a page turn is a little bit different than writing for towards a commercial break.
Right.
Yeah.
It's basically 20 commercial breaks.
Yeah, it's like
a single
Yeah.
issue.
And I'm finding I don't know that we have quite yet. I know we're having too much story, so it's going to be about, okay, what is the right amount of story for each issue? So it's just going to be culling it. I always write long anyway, and I'm the worst at editing. Like, no, but I like that. So that's a learning process. But there's a lot of similarities, and when you're in both TV and anything, you're starting with a great character. Carol's a great character, and so when you already have that, it makes it a lot easier.
Have you talked with Kelly Sue at all about? Have you guys
She's been
conferred?
so incredibly kind to us
She
on Twitter.
friended me on Twitter. I'm super
And
excited.
you know, we haven't had the opportunity to actually meet her in person. I really hope I do, because I think she does amazing work. And you know,
We read all of her
Yeah.
runs, and so what she did was so great. All we're doing is building on what she has already established.
Yeah.
So, getting back to Agent Carter real quick, one thing you guys teased at the panel yesterday was that we will finally get to meet Jarvis's wife. And I was curious, because we didn't see her at all in season 1, did you know who she was and what her character was even when we didn't see her? Or is this something that sort of came about when you were breaking season 2?
in the 3rd episode, Jarvis kind of explains how he met her. And that was like how the basis for the character that we're working with potentially in the 2nd season.
And then we've been talking this season about, well, what kind of woman would Jarvis fall for? You know, he's got great taste in women because he loves Peggy, and he platonically loves Peggy. So it's like, what?
I would like to believe that
That's
there's
a really
more.
special woman, and we want to, you know, Peggy's gonna love her because Jarvis loves her, and so she's somewhat of a confidant for Peggy. So kind of, but we also didn't want to make her what you would expect, like a guy in a 3-piece tweed suit. I like the idea that who he married is very different than he is. So yeah.
I have a question, actually.
Yes.
Yes.
Does this thing work?
I don't.
We can try. We can try. Give it a shot.
No,
Here,
it's
let me
dead.
give you a clear path.
Wait, maybe you gotta like push it.
I saw
I know.
the light going.
It's gotten a lot of play, so we might need
Dead.
some new batteries
Does he
there.
crawl with his.
No, well, he's supposed to like.
Does he smash?
Oh my
Yeah.
God!
He's kind of Fred Flintstoning it.
That is awesome.
Please, I wish it
I want
your
one.
son would
would
flip for that.
go insane.
We've got one.
From Hasbro, everyone.
Okay.
That is incredible.
We've got one last fan question, and again, this is sort of a timeline question from Ben Ruthig. With the show now set in California, do you plan on lining up the 2nd season with the Agent Carter one-shot?
I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. I think
The
not
blessing
really.
and the curse
I
of
think
having
we
so much
sort
source
of-
material.
We sort of, the only thing in the Agent Carter one-shot that doesn't fit into it is that at the end of the Agent Carter one-shot, Howard Stark calls him and said, hey, I'm starting S.H.I.E.L.D. So if that actually happened in 1946,
You're a little.
Yeah.
and the problem is that we don't want to do a show called S.H.I.E.L.D. because there is already a show called S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So that's the one part that happened, but maybe not in 1946, because
Yeah.
we're actually shifting the show to 47.
Right, you're a year
And the
later.
thing is, the one shot
We
is
did get
amazing.
permission from Louis D'Esposito
And
to do
yes,
that.
Yeah.
you know, Eric Pearson wrote an amazing one shot. Louis obviously has been the godfather of this project from the get-go, and it's everything that's in that one shot. I feel like we built
yeah.
on in the 1st season, and now it's fun to take Peggy to a different place.
All right, we're going to have to let you go in a minute. So last quick question for all of you. What is your favorite thing about working on the show? Tell it to the fans.
I love the relationship between Peggy and Jarvis.
You also love the fan art. I mean,
do,
you do love the
but-
fan art. I love working with this group of people, kind of top to bottom cast and crew, they're fans of the show, and I love working with fans because I'm a fan.
I love the time period and watching Peggy smash dudes in the face with stuff.
Yeah,
It's a lot of
I
fun.
that too.
love having a ladylike kick-ass hero to watch. It's amazing. So we're big fans.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
you
you.
for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Keep watching the stream. We'll be bringing more folks to you all during the day. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. signing is happening later this afternoon. Stay tuned.